Okay, welcome back, everybody. We have the first of our final four matchups here, the Squall versus Pensivemoose matchup. And we're happy to be joined by Zarkonis here in the booth.
What's going on? Mr. Razul, what's going on, chat? Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Always down for some Gaiden tourneys.
Yeah, we've been having a fun race here. It's been a bunch of races that have resulted in a final four here of some very talented runners. So how you feeling about this race, Zark?
Let's see, Squall versus Moose, two of the best for sure. These guys, when they're both on, are ridiculous. Obviously, sub 12 runners. Moose is one of the best ever. Squall is right up there. It's really just going to come down to who has been racing the most consistent and who's not going to let their nerves get the best of them now that they know they're both facing one of the best.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see whose performance and execution will hold up, especially through, I think it's the same with the learner's permit race and, any of the NRL events and any of the DAX tournament. The further you get in the tournament, the more real the nerves become. So, we'll have to see how the runners, mitigate those challenges in addition to everything the game can throw at you, like the demon, the cottage cheese, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and single elimination only makes it much more, much more real. Just anything can happen. And these guys both know that if they die, the other one may very well just take off and never look back. So the pressure's on.
Yeah, well, if we had a good bunch of races so far, if you take a look, here, we'll pull up the bracket so people can see it. Sorry about that. Okay, make sure it's refreshed. Yeah, and it's been a good tournament so far. We had 14 very, very skilled runners coming out for the tournament. All right, and as you can see the bracket here, our final four is Pensivemoose versus blacksquall, Mr. Aves versus Knucklebuster in the bottom half of the bracket. So both of these should be competitive matches, and we'll kind of have to see who moves on to the finals here, Zark.
Yeah, it's safe to say whoever takes it has earned it. Obviously, we know all four of those guys are some of the best that have ever run this game. They run it regularly, they run it consistently, and they do it well every time that they're playing. I mean, we all make mistakes. We all have a lot of resets. That just comes with the territory of speed running. But it's also another demon to be able to race effectively. And all of these guys, do races regular enough that they know what they should put in a race. But the challenge is, of course, now, as they go, it's I can't take it too safe, because if the other guy takes a little bit more risk, kind of plays more like they're trying to go for a PB almost, and does it well, I'm going to lose, so the pressure is definitely on in that sense.
All right, here in the race room, we have a 30-second countdown. So we've got the runners all readied up, and we should be getting them going here momentarily.
This is very exciting. I don't know who chat has their money on, but it's going to be too close to call, I think.
I think it will come down to some of those details. If you look at the race between Knucklebuster and myself, it really came down to who took fewer knockbacks, because both of them were deathless runs. So I think we're expecting something similar from Moose and Squally here.
Yeah, and if they keep it close within 10 seconds going into stage 6, I mean, anything can happen, of course. And if they feel the pressure, they may make a mistake in Jack or Demon, probably more likely the Demon. That could cost them. But, if they're within 10 seconds, I'd say into 5, into 6, it could be either person's race.
All right, the runners are ready. Good luck, have fun. And we've got a countdown in the race room. 15 seconds until this race starts. You will see the runners reset, and then we'll do our best here to sync up the feeds, and then open for a good race here. And may no one die to the demon.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing that could happen is we see someone die in like stage 4 or stage 5 or even something silly. I mean, in stage 2, it depends on where it happens. It's they can kind of get back on and not lose too much time. You don't want to see a death that's gonna have to put them all the way back at the beginning of a stage and kind of tell us who's gonna win in advance. We want to see this stay close to the end.
All right, both runners looking like they're making their way through 1-1. Let's see how Tyson treats them. No lazy Tysons for either Moose or Squally.
So that's good. And I know some runners that can kind of get in their head something silly like a lazy Tyson. It's just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I'm losing 3 seconds, 4 seconds right here. This is going to be rough. Even though I think all of the runners that we have left, even if that happens, they're just going to say, you know what, it is what it is. I just got to keep going. But I've heard some of the best runners in some of these games, say, man, that can get in my head real hard.
I think it's just because it is the demoralization factor, right? You're hoping for that good Act 1. You want to see, a near PB split. And then when you miss that Tyson, like you said, you're losing at least 5 seconds. Plus you have the difficulty of the climb. It's sort of like when you take a 3 and you miss, and then, like your head is down and you're walking slowly to pick up the ball. It's just not a great way to start the run.
Yep. Both of them are looking good so far. Pretty close to identical.
Yeah, pretty good sync. Ooh, we see Squally with the first little hiccup there in the
oh no.
little frame early jump there.
I mean, thankfully he was already on 2-1 before anything happened there, but it's just not the things you want to see. It's definitely the jitters, I would say, running against Moose.
Well, Moose does propose, quite a challenge, even if you are the, pro climber and, Ninja Gaiden runner that is blacksquall. And I've seen Squally come back from some pretty decent deficits. I mean, that was not the worst thing that could have happened. It was relatively close to the beginning of a screen. It's similar to the neckbreaker death, where it's about the fastest death you could take on that screen. So I give Squally a puncher's chance here to definitely get his way back into it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I mean, I don't know if Moose has the stream up or not, but with Squall now, he knows I took the first death and I took the issue on the jumpy house, and I've lost some time. So now, you know what? Just whatever. Let's just run my run. It's kind of similar to the learner's permit when we saw a video game cabin dying in stage 5, and it was just like, you know what? All right, I'm just going to do my run now, and just stay consistent, and before you know it, you could be the winner.
The thing is, that deathless run, even if it's not the fastest run you can put up, it is still going to be valuable, even at this stage of the tournament.
Yep, exactly. So Moose still has the deathless run going here. Looking good.
Okay, we got Squally and Moose. Moose makes the shuriken throw. Okay, showing off the flame strat here. All right, no problems with the sword on the stairs there. Squally also gets the shuriken throw. Similar strat. Okay, very, very similar strats used by our runner so far, as you see Squally finishing up the bouncy.
Yeah, and same thing where you don't want to see a needless death that costs like 20 or 30 seconds. You also don't want to see them miss the shuriken. Thankfully, they both got it.
Mitch, a wild Mr. Meatloaf has appeared in the chat. We have to take a moment to acknowledge Mr. Meatloaf and Ultra. Thank you for inviting Mr. Meatloaf to our Ninja Gaiden Classic tournament.
Always nice to see Mr. Meatloaf.
Well, now we know it's a real thing. It's an official tournament now there, Zark.
Oh, man. Moose has been taking a few knockbacks here, but now Squall is as well. So maybe Squall's made up a little time here with Moose taking a couple hits. We'll see if that gets in Moose's head now that he's starting to make a few mistakes. Yeah, and Squally with the bumble tumble there, while Moose went for the hoo-ah late jump. Interesting to see the variation of strats there, as Squally finishes up Massacre. And this is pretty close here, since the sync was pretty even at the beginning. Yep, he's about 4.5 seconds back, I would say, right now. Definitely made up some time. So, again, is Moose thinking that? And Moose could think that he's behind right now, for all we know.
Yeah, and like you said, as far as I know, Moose does not keep any other streams up. No other information. I think he likes to focus on the run. He is a highly focused individual. If you've ever seen his streams, and we highly encourage everyone to go and follow these amazing runners, because when you watch these runners in their preparation, specifically Moose, he spends a lot of time on the details, right? The finer details of the game, specifically like, mastering the little nuances of movement and then mastering the boss fights. So trying to really cut time out in as many places as possible. And then he has been successful in carrying that over into his race route. And then you've got Squally, master of climbs, knows every category, probably knows every strat, and has invented some of the most fast climb related and interesting creative strats that we've seen since probably the BFOB boost with the star boost. I don't know if you've ever seen it, right? It's in 6-2, right? The Squally star boost.
I don't recall, but you'll have to call it out when it happens. But you make a great point. Like, Squall runs many of the categories. I think Moose is largely focused on any percent, but at his skill level, I mean, he can improvise at any point. But if Squall is in the master class of low percent and Moose isn't quite there, if he takes a death, are we going to see Squall have a better chance of catching up here?
Well, I'm sure that Squall is positioned to take advantage of any even small mistake that Moose might have in the route, because we do know that Squally can put up a very, very fast split in any of these acts. And that's kind of the thing about a Ninja Gaiden run, being that there's 6 acts. You might have a poor start. You might even take a death. But if you really lay down a good 5 and 6, and the other runner happens to get a few knockbacks, maybe loses the spin slash, has to slash down Malth, it's really anybody's game.
Yeah, it's definitely critical. Thank God we didn't see any 4-3 deaths, because then they would have had to do low percent on Calbaros. So, that's done. We're out of there. But like you said, 5 and 6 are so critical, and we're going into 5 now. Like, it's so critical. And there's many runners that don't have license that can essentially keep up with some of the best up through stage 4. It's here in 5 and 6 where, the rubber meets the road and the best separate themselves.
Yeah, and I can recall hearing retro runners say it a number of times. They don't call it the rage stage for nothing. And, because you will end up with, what he calls shut up juice pace, right? Nice, spicy PB pace out through the doggo kill. But then, with the nature of the boosts in 5-1, the nature of the movement and the boosts in 5-2, and then just really the overall difficulty of 5-3, stacking those screens together well all the time, and specifically consistently with race nerves, can be quite the challenge.
Yeah, exactly. And here, going into 5-2, or we're well into 5-2 at this point, this is where you do not want to lose spin slash, because low percenting your way through 5 is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, what's funny is that when I first started to run the game, those early experiences where you would take deaths in, anywhere here in stage 5, right, 5-2 and beyond, it really felt then like being back, as a kid again. Those original experiences, kind of slashing your way through the game, just trying to figure out how to get through it, even though you've lost the spin slash. And even to this day, I still rely on those low percent strats, when things don't go right in a race.
Yeah, I got to work on low percent. It's a category I'm interested in. I don't know how far I'll push it when I actually get to it, but it's for racing, especially for someone like me and, just barely licensed. Like, there's so many opportunities for failure in a race, and having low percent under your belt is key.
All right, we did see Squally get the SP boost. He is essentially only 1 or 2 screens behind Pensivemoose here. Maybe just 1 screen. Really is interesting going into Malth here. See what happens into the final part of this game.
Yeah, Moose is playing it really well. He's 8:38 into that top platform. blacksquall is 8:43, so still only 5 seconds back. He's been holding strong. He's been keeping up with Moose for, he fell 5 seconds behind, but he's been holding since late stage 3. So that's great. So like I said, plus within 10 seconds going into here, we have a race. We're just about there, around 5 seconds. We'll see what happens in 6.
There was a comment earlier that this matchup between Moose and Squally was likely to be over faster than a Com v Com DBZ fight, which, those do last a while, but they are relatively quick. So we are living up to that expectation. And thank you for that comment from chat.
All All right, coming into 6-2. This is where, again, we talk about those people that are looking to get license or are around license. This is where your runs can fall apart so easily. Just the littlest things. You can see Squall taking a bop right there. And now, hopefully he'll just get through here clean.
All right, coming up on the KBCs, a good spin on the gunner. You do want to make sure you try to get these two cleanly, and Squall taking care of that active hammer pattern as we see Pensivemoose boosting into 5-2. Looking for the regular exit boost here. No eggs, Benny. And he gets it, and Squally is short to follow. Takes a knockback.
Both cleared Hell's Hallway really well. Moose off into 6-3, no problem. Squall making his way through. Whew.
And we do know that Moose is likely to go for a center platform kill on Jackio. Squall will also likely go for a center platform kill. So if blacksquall can keep it close, depending on how the Jackio fight goes at the end here, we do know almost anything can happen with the shrimp and the demon.
Oh no! Moose goes down!
And Moose...
now suddenly he is behind big time, and he doesn't have the spin slash.
Okay, so Squall takes the lead here. Pickle boost. Let's go. Shout out Starkus.
Alright, he got the bird boost this time. He misses the timer, so now he's taking some bops. Moose is a little shaken here. He should be able to close out strong. Let's just hope he doesn't, take another needless death or anything that's just going to put him totally out of contention.
Okay, Squally with an 11-16 clown nose, looking at a really strong chance at a 12-0x, a low 12-0x time. All right, and then we got Moose also hitting the boss door. Good luck, runners.
Moose is going to have to cancel his way through here, and he should be able to close out, but again, he's taking hits. He's losing time. He can't be doing that against Squall.
It looks like Squall may have gone with a left side kill there. Finishes it up in the middle, though.
Yep, pretty clean. Pretty clean overall. He's going to make a nice clean entrance into the demon here.
Moose getting the plate kill.
Yeah, that was very good. Good way to try to get back into this. But it's going to take an act of God here.
And an early knock from the tail there. Squally in bad shape. Okay. And he finishes it up. Very close race between Squall and Moose, but it looks like Squall is going to take it, moving himself
look at that kill.
Into the finals.
At least Moose went out strong. That was a beautiful kill there on the demon.
Yeah, GG's runners. Well done, Squall. Unfortunate death for Moose there around the bird boost in 6-3. Without that, you'd kind of wonder if it would have come down to that Jackio fight. It was interesting because that plate kill from Moose, it really would have made a difference at the end there, Zark.
Yeah, that was a beautiful boss rush at the end by Moose. It's just a shame that he had to take that death, and I mean that was the difference. He would have taken it for sure if all of those things remained the same, and he didn't take that death. That was a beautiful way to close out.
All right, so Squally in the race room with a 12-11 moves on to the final, and this is how close it was, Zark. We've got Pensivemoose even with that death. 12-14 in the race room. GG's runners. What a close race. What an excellent semifinal.
And it's just those little things that can happen. I mean, Moose goes in 5 or 6 seconds ahead into 6-1, but he takes that death, and that was a significant difference. I mean, that's 10 seconds to get back to the bird boost, 10 or so seconds to get there. I mean, plus the time with the death, the death sound or whatever. So, man.
Yeah, it's an impressive feat to get back there and finish only 3 seconds behind that 12-11 finish from Squally. So GG's Moose, GG's runners. Let's take a look at the bracket so we can see the updated standings, and then we'll see the next matchup.
Nice job, boys.
Okay, so Black Squall, a 4 seed, takes out the 1 seed, Pensivemoose, GG's runners, and Squally moves into the finals of this tournament. All right, and we will set up the second semifinal for us here, Mr. Avis versus Knucklebuster, and then we will be right back.